After you're done with the lightest color going across your locker line, you're ready to start adding your second color, the medium tone, to your painting. I chose this darker blue. You can choose whatever color you would like. And what we're doing is we're placing this medium color where there are shadows or depth in the painting. So as you can see, where this locker is open, it creates depth between the open locker and the locker that's closed behind it. So you see a shadow line. What I didn't explain to you yesterday was that when you create an area of color with the watercolor pencils, always start at a line and work your way away from it. So if there's going to be a shadow here, I'm going to start at this line, and I'm going to fade away from the line by picking up on the pencil as I go away. So I'm creating this shadow area right at this edge. Then I'm going to swirl my brush. I'm going to actually turn this around and come at it from this angle because I'm right-handed. Always start where the fade is and work your way towards the line with your brush. And once you meet the line, stop and rinse your brush out. So therefore, you get a nice fade from light to dark to that line. So I started working over here around my monster. He's in front of a very deep section because it's the open locker. So there should definitely be shadows and darker areas behind my monster. So right around the line of his body here, I'm going to create another shadow area. So start at the line, fade out away from the line by lifting up. And I'm going to go up the appendage that is holding his eyeball a little bit too. Again, I'm going to turn it. Work from the faded side in towards the line. Don't go over the line if you can help it. There we go. If you notice that your brush is starting to split at the end, it means that there's no water in those bristles, and you might have to dip your brush again into the water cup. There, that's nice. So as you can see, there are some spots on this side that we need some shadows on. So this area right here, start at the line of the monster, work myself out away from the line with a fade, paint from the faded side towards the line, like that. And I would say definitely around this side of the eye and the top of the head here, he needs more shadowed areas. Another place that needs some shadows is behind these tissue boxes at the top, because they're in front of the very back of this open locker. So I'm going to add my color here from the line of the tissue box, faded out away from the tissue box. I have to be very careful when I work up here because there are very small sections or objects to work around. If I get the color inside the tissue box, I'm not going to worry too much about it because I want to go over those tissue boxes with the colored pencils. But these tissues, I would like to stay pure white, so I really have to be careful when I'm working around the tissues especially. There we are. Now it makes those tissue boxes stand up away from that background. And there's a small section right here that needs a shadow. Now this is where I have to be really careful because of those tissues. This is creating 3 dimensions. It's creating depth in your picture, and it's making it look less like flat shapes that are only 2-dimensional and more like 3-dimensional shapes and areas. Another place I'll need a shadow is underneath this locker shelf and maybe along the line of the open locker right here coming out. Like so. Let's see. Definitely underneath these tissue areas needs some shadows. As I work my way across my locker line, I put a shadow at the very bottom here, but I think I want a shadow line going from the top in. So I'll turn this again, and I'll work way at the top here from this line down. So start at the line, fade out away from the line, This will help decrease the number of blotches of color that you're seeing, creating the color by using this technique, starting at the line and fading out away from the line. I'm going to go straight across here, all the way to there. And now I'll flip it, dip my brush, and I'll work right from this point up, this side up, all the way across. So you're not going to use as much of this medium tone that you did with the lightest, but it will be apparent, you will see it for sure. Try to stick with the areas that need a shadow and areas that are deep. When we get to our third video, which will be the third color, you will see me put this deep green into this open locker area and some hints behind the monster, and that's it, because that will be the focus point, and that's the deepest part of the picture. And that will help create that 3D look even more. Happy painting!